All right, here we are again. Another weekend, another episode of the this thing, the jankityasspodcast. Number 50. We're half a century old, kind of, but not really.
Yeah, not tree fitty, just fitty.
Just a fitty. Let's see. Getting the fun stuff out of the way first. Today's beer for me is, you remember this brewery, Adroittheory? This time it's the Abandon All Hope.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Nice. That is a sick label.
Fun cyborg. I really wish that these guys weren't in Canada. So it'd be nice if I could
because
just like...
Canada?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, yeah, just getting them, but this is a hazy IPA, Imperial IPA. I don't even really know what the Imperial means.
So Imperial means it's been, from what I remember, it's like been done a second time. So whatever, like it's because it's India Pale Ale is IPA, but an Imperial, it's like do the India process again. It's just basically even hoppier. That's the gist that I'm aware of.
So basically, somebody screwed up once, and they had to check their work again, and then everybody liked it, I guess.
Yeah, and then they were like, actually, you know what? Let's keep that. Let's keep that in rotation.
All right.
Ugh.
Not enough time. Just get it out. Oh, yeah.
I am actually drinking something tonight, but it's definitely not a brew in the normal sense of that. I am drinking wine.
Oh.
Because it's
here. A little
bit of white. It's the J. Lore Chardonnay. Arroyo. It's Arroyo Seco. Normally, when I drink wine, I go for like a Syrah or like maybe a Pinot Noir because I'm fancy as shit, as you can clearly tell.
Reddish?
Not reddish. Yeah, I go for the reddish variety, but this is actually like one of the best white wines I've ever had for the price point, like $10. Solid.
Nice.
Good.
Tom's having a Chardonnay for $200.
Yeah. Actually, I am drinking pure liquefied gold.
I'll have a hard-on for 400 points. What? Good old times back when SNL was good.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the last... I was thinking about this the other day. I think that the last time like SNL was really good was when it had like Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader and Fred Armisen and Andy Samberg and like that whole crew of people. When they were regulars on there, that's when SNL was just like solid, because like they're all just, I think from what I understand, they were all very involved in the writing process. They're all just hilarious people. I mean, Bill Hader wrote a lot for South Park. I know that.
Oh, nice. And it's over now.
Yeah, and that's all I had to say.
More or less. And also, the fun thing is with all these beers from this brewery, they have the food pairings, food and cigar pairings actually. So this one, is, hazy Imperial IPA apparently goes good with flank steak with shiitake yakitori. I'm not off the top of my head.
It's a mushroom, I think.
The shiitake, yes. Maybe, I guess just like a flank steak with mushrooms.
I think it's the second word is the way it's prepared. I'm shooting out of the dark here, but
possibly. And then for cheese, it goes good with a Romano Pradera, which who knows what that is. And then
you didn't pronounce it right. You need to go like
Romano
Pradera.
Pradera. And then for cigars, they suggest the Monte Cristo Nicaragua series of the Robusto cut.
I don't think I've had that one. Which makes sense because I've smoked like maybe 8 cigars in my life, 10 if we're pushing it.
So, I don't think I've had that one. You said about the entire shelf
thing that he's had no experience. Yeah, exactly.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't. I know whenever I get cigars, I usually just get Gurkha brand. I don't know if you've heard those.
No, I haven't.
They have some really good ones. I know back whenever I finished up VFX school, I had one of their old limited edition gold reserve cigars, and it
Nice.
was like a big one, but it's like it's the first time that I had like a full size cigar, whatever. I don't know what the cut is, but and it didn't fuck me up at all.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
always the problems for me going into cigars, like growing up or trying them out, was just like I feel like I just like breathe in a campfire the next day. You know what I mean? Just be awful.
Well, for me, it's more like once I hit the end of like a good cigar, it feels like I just got off the graviton. You know what I mean? Where everything just
Yeah,
starts
it's
going
just
like, "Ugh."
like how I didn't expect I needed to be in shape for this part. I
No,
thought
no,
this was a
yeah,
vice.
I'm not even in shape. It's just dizzy.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't realize I needed army drop corps training to smoke a goddamn cigar.
Yeah. Recommended for air pilots and astronauts who have trained in a centrifuge.
Yeah, all right. But no, that brand's kind of well. I actually first found them whenever I was out in Florida for a little back when I was in Orlando,
Oh yeah.
and we had so where I was like living and going to school was
Hmm.
like around the Universal Studios down there, and they had a
I
so that area is kind of like the southwest part of Orlando where like they just have they have the Universal Studios, and then there's like it's just like marsh jungle kind of all over the place, and then a bunch of like really nice neighborhoods. Like you go even further
okay.
out, that's like the super rich uh like Jewish neighborhoods, like they have like the giant mega temples. But
Oh okay.
yeah, but apparently they're not as douchey as Catholic mega churches because they're never in the news or anything like that.
Yeah. No, the worst megachurches, in my opinion, are the Mormon megachurches. Those things look like freaking something out of Disneyland.
Mm.
Like there's one. Have you ever seen it? It's on the way. It's on the way to San Diego. It's off the highway. It's like that massive white cathedral looking shit with like the gold statues everywhere.
Maybe San Diego. I might have.
It's on the yeah. It's like on the way. If like about like 40 minutes north of Carlsbad before you get to that area proper.
I think the only time the only time I really went that way is whenever I went with the one time I went to BAO with you guys.
No. It's south. So it would be on the way to
Oh,
Del Mar.
San Diego. Oh. Okay, maybe.
Maybe I mean it could also be that it
Probably.
was too south of where I mean because we made that trip a number of times. It could be like just south of where that stop was for us. So maybe it would have been further down the road. I could see that.
Maybe.
But
Well, I
like every Mormon church I've seen is just like the big cathedrals are
ridiculous.
just audacious. Oh my god. There's a reason if you ever watch The Expanse that they made the Mormon ship look the way it does.
Oh yeah.
Like it's culturally, if you want to call it that, significant.
I still have to finish the last season. Get
It
around to
was really
that.
good. I really liked it. When you do finish it, let me know because I have some questions about the ending insofar as I'm like questioning why did they do that?
Okay.
Why did you do this to me?
I'm at the part where what's his face? The guys are on Earth and they like just escaped Earth again from the prison. I'm completely
Um.
blanking on like all the characters. The one that used to be like a gangster in Detroit, and the like the super bio souped up girl, and then like all of his little
Oh.
gang buddies. Yeah,
Oh yeah. You're in the last season right now. Or are you saying
yeah.
you just haven't finished it? Oh okay.
I just haven't finished it because I like at the time that was where it had cut off.
Dude, I love that guy's character, man. His Amos, although
Yeah,
he's played by
Amos.
Wes,
Yep.
But he's played by Wes Chatham.
Yeah.
That guy does that. He does such a good job playing that character.
He you were saying before he was actually in the beginning of Tenet for like a few seconds.
Yeah, like you can see
Yeah.
him as a SWAT guy. It's totally him. And I was
And then that's it.
and that's it. Like, did you just like get to be in the movie? Was he just like he wanted to be an extra? Because like he's got the clout. He could have gotten maybe more if there was something there. But then again, like I could see somebody being like, "Hey, I'm shooting this. You want to just come be an extra for a couple hours?" And he's like, "Hell yeah!" But like that's totally him. It's completely him if you look.
Well, I mean, and also, you know, Tenet was Christopher Nolan, so it's probably like, you know, hey, don't be a dick, right? Just you got your lines or lack of lines, I guess, in that case, and just roll with it.
Just roll with it.
I don't know. Maybe he was one of the other guys wearing a mask or whatever at some point too. Who knows?
Oh yeah, I mean, that scene sets it up like, oh, it's a squad movie and you're gonna meet the whole squad, and then in the very beginning you're like, nope, I don't meet anybody, just the main dude.
Yeah, they had him do a. I guess they probably just had him pull a Brad Pitt off of what the fuck's Deadpool.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot Brad Pitt was in that
for all of about like 4 seconds.
God, that was so good. Or like, you know, contention point bringing up the Star Wars movies, but like, you know, the Stormtrooper cameos that they've had in those.
I think I've heard of some, but I don't know off the top of my head.
The famous one was Daniel Craig. He plays that Stormtrooper with Rey in the beginning. Back when we all still had hope that the sequels were going to be good. Fight me.
Okay.
Come at me, bro.
Speaking of Star Wars and fighting, I'm sure did I kind of tell you about the like one of the kind of conspiracies about why Carano got fired?
No, I did not.
So
you did not.
So you know how Favreau is directing The Mandalorian?
Yeah, it's him. Well, it's him and what's his
mostly
name?
him.
Filoni.
Yeah, but
actually, it's mostly been Filoni, I thought. But yeah, go for it.
No, Favreau's like the main guy for it. But so apparently one of like the actual heads of Disney was in charge of some woman. I don't remember off the top of my head, but she was the one in charge of the last not threequel, trilogy that came out, and I guess is like kind of like behind the scenes sour that Favreau's doing a better job with a little TV show.
Well, because the guy, well, and first off, it is actually David Filoni, or is also very heavily involved. He doesn't maybe do the directing, but he's insanely involved in the writing room. And between the two of them, those guys they do two things. They understand movies and cinema very well. And you can see that in The Mandalorian with all of its cinematography references. I mean, the last season had like a clear freaking cut, like reference to Japanese cinema and spaghetti westerns and like samurai movies. And like, if you've seen The Mandalorian, you know exactly which episode I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like everything about it is just classic. It's well shot. It's very prop oriented. The new movies were all just CGI flash, lens flare, blah. Let's just throw a bunch of shit at the screen and hope something sticks. And there were some really great moments in the sequels, to be quite honest. Like, sure, there were some really good, cool moments, but like out of time, it's like I mean, or as a whole, it's just, man, there were so many gaping plot holes, in my opinion. And I actually thought a lot about editing. And I mean editing not from a digital perspective, but like just from like somebody looking at the whole story and being like, does this make sense the way we cut this? Like, does this sync? Does this track? Because like the third movie, the way it's introduced, the way it's filmed, the whole story, you don't need the second movie, and that was kind of done on purpose. But anyway, so you're saying there's this beef. Everyone's like, oh yeah, look at Favreau, he's kicking butt. So what happens next?
There's what happens next is apparently they got rid of one of their one of his biggest stars that was going to be a spinoff.
Oh, right.
So yeah,
So it was.
and
You think it was sabotage
a little bit,
to
yeah.
like
And I
to.
mean, there's also like the obvious
I mean,
reasons as well.
well, there are
But
obvious reasons. Yeah, the obvious reasons. I mean, she's one of those people that's unapologetic about what she says, and in a world that wants you to apologize about everything you say, that doesn't really go over well. Although what's funny is that when you read the tweet that got her,
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, if it were by itself, sure, it's a bit of a extreme comparison that she's making. She doesn't actually directly say who she's comparing, like the whole woke versus silencing this. She's not actually very like, but it's kind of clear. So it's like, I get that. It's like, okay, it's not that bad, but like, I see the analogy you're drawing on, but maybe not that analogy. Just don't do that. And just people took it and been like, oh my God, she's an anti-Semite. And it's like, that. No, she's literally not saying that, but too late. People are going to, it's like, I've actually done this experiment now where it doesn't matter the news source. I'll see a headline and I'll quickly check the news article to read the first couple paragraphs, and I mean, this is not common knowledge, but it's still shocking to experience it. Almost every article I do that's related about anything involving people, so not like technology or something necessarily, but it's like, this guy ate a baby, and it's like, you read the article and it's like, this guy ate next to a baby and in the process accidentally poked his toe with a fork, and it's like it's like, good grief, like they're doing this thing where it's like just enough of a headline to be like represent, it's like super clickbaity. And it's crazy just because it's like all of these major websites, these major news sites, which, by the way, if you want to see how terrible our media is, go to one of their websites on purpose. Just the sheer number of ads, and like the kind of outdated ads, like the kind only crazy people would click, regardless of which site you're on. It's ridiculous. It just kind of makes you think, oh, this is the people, this is our national source of information. Got it. Okay. Cool. Just checking in.
Well, and what's really fun is that it wasn't even like her words or anything like that. It was literally just a repost from somewhere else.
Yeah. Right. But again, that would be contextual and people reading the whole situation through. So why would that happen?
True. But yeah, no, and then
this is not to say this is, and this is not defending her as a person either. Like, she could be a shit awful human being. I don't know. I don't care.
Highly doubt it.
But yeah, but in this particular instance, it doesn't make sense what's happening.
I mean, she's even got, if you got Bill Burr saying that you're a decent person, like, you're a decent person.
Yeah, that's actually a good litmus test.
Stupid things every once in a while. Who doesn't?
Yeah, if Bill Burr is going to compliment you to a degree, then you're probably fine.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that guy is like the vampire that feeds on vampire, he's the asshole who goes after assholes. like, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I didn't even write this down, but somebody tried coming after him again. I don't know if you saw that. So he also did the Grammys, which was kind of he was just being himself, which was fine. And then so he's been married to a black lady who's a kind of like a famous producer actor. I think, I don't remember off the top of my head. And then some fucking like quote unquote journalist or whatever, I guess, put out like a thing about how, like, just because you're married to like an person of color doesn't make you not a racist, because it could be considered like a person of color sex slave or some stupid shit like that.
So
in something
incredibly offensive and borderline just ill thought out. Got it.
But unfortunately that went nowhere because everybody was just like, you're retarded. Straight up.
Yeah. And goodbye career.
Mm-hmm.
Namely yours. It's like that meme. It's like, call an ambulance, but not for me.
Well, I mean, I think that was also from whatchamacallit. That was actually a piece that was in the Daily Wire, I think.
I hate that.
So
I hate that
yeah,
site.
not the not the Shapiro one, but because I think his is the
No.
Daily Mail.
I
Right?
no, I don't know which one his is. I know the Daily Wire insofar
It's
as I've
Daily
seen
something.
stuff that comes out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and it's like, look, I am all about progression. I am all about the human race moving to a better place, and everybody being treated equitably, and everyone living happily ever after,
And they're
and
not.
everybody just doing whatever the hell they want. Yeah, and that places like that do not facilitate that because they thrive off of anger and controversy and getting people to keep fighting. Like,
Oh, yeah.
places that encourage like positive discussion, actual learning, good feedback, instead of forced values, forced dichotomy, like, those places are good. Sad thing is there's very few of those places.
Yeah, few and far between. But what was I gonna say? But no. Getting back to the whole Favreau thing is that I also saw he had recently put out a thing saying like, hey, it would be really nice if Disney gave me, a little bit more creative control over a couple of these other spin-offs that we're trying to do, and maybe back the fuck off.
Yeah.
So yeah, real beef.
Well, because guess what? If they don't give him that control, all that needs to happen is Netflix just needs to go to him and be like, hey, here's this cool thing that could be a franchise or that is like cool and nerdy and awesome. Do you want to just have complete control over it? Here's $1 bajillion and guaranteed revenue for the rest of your life, even though you already had that beyond measure.
Yeah.
Like, because that's one thing that I've always really admired about Netflix. Say what you will about some of the stupid shit that they've done, is that for them, like, and as far as I know, they still have this reputation, but they let their people who create things have complete creative control, and they're just like, nah, we're just here just to make sure you guys don't go off budget, and if you guys ask for more money, odds are we'll probably say, yeah, just you gotta ask first, and yeah, just don't break any laws. Cool. All right. See you in 8 months.
Well, from what I have heard, they kind of have the problem where they don't really like to pay people that well, from what I understand. At least outside of Netflix.
Talent.
Yeah. Which I mean, yeah. So like actors, for instance, especially, and stuff like that.
So they don't like paying actors.
Oh yeah, I mean, who does?
Like, they just
nobody does. I mean, especially now, like the elite class of actors is basically almost gone. Like, you have like what?
Oh yeah.
Brad Pitt, De Niro,
George Clooney,
or not De Niro, DiCaprio, and then like everybody underneath that is, basically just living a regular middle class life at best.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That's a good point, actually. I never thought of that. I mean, you still get those couple, especially with the Marvel movies that just make gobs of money. So you get like Robert Downey Jr., who's just, I think for a while he was the highest paid actor. Then Chris Hemsworth was, then Chris Evans was, I think.
Oh yeah, they're definitely making.
Basically, if you want to be a millionaire, you just got to get to one of those blockbuster movies, like next Twilight Saga. Sure, I'll be in it. Where are my millions?
But what was I gonna say? And I know they also like to do the contracts where like you can't work on anything else while you're under contract as well. So that's fun.
Well, especially too, right? Because right, if production takes 10 months, that's not 10 months of you, the actor's time. That's just 10 months, right? So depending on that version of their contract, that can suck.
Yeah, 'cause filming is probably only going to be like maybe a month.
Yeah, maybe.
Or 2. Unless you're supporting, then you're like, hey, we need you for a couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's it. But
hey, you're not as important.
Yeah, but I mean, if like you, I mean, at the same time though, like if I ever manage to get this whole comedy thing going for myself, and somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to be in this?" I'd probably be like, "Yeah, okay," because it's not depending on what it is, because then it's just like whatever. But I mean, at the same time though, like most people who are able to go out and tour, especially if they're ones who are able to do theaters and stuff like that, like all the big ones that we know, like you actually lose money sitting around on a set.
Oh yeah, because your time is way better billed somewhere else. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if you already have a name.
Yeah, the only reason I feel like if being a comic is your true calling and your true gig, the only reason to be in a movie is so more people will hear about you, right? Like that's it. I mean that's kind of what happened, right, to Ken Jeong, right? He was a doctor. He was trying to get into comedy and acting, and he hit that $1 million gig, and then boom,
got that Mr. Chow.
Yeah. Suck my bottle 2 times.
And now, well, now he has,
I love.
That was Pineapple Express.
I love that. Right? Yeah, I know. I mixed them up, but I loved him in Crazy Rich Asians when he comes off like he's got like the really thick accent, and then he's like, "Nah, I'm just playing, dog. I can totally speak." No, he's just like, he's like, I can totally just like, no big deal. I thought that was a good play, considering I feel like he was making fun of his own characters that he does when he did that. Totally.
I would imagine he's probably at the point where he would normally turn down those kind of roles, because I know that's a thing now. Like I know
I've been seeing him do a lot of TV. Actually, is what I feel like he's been doing, like reality TV. Like he's in The Masked Singer.
Oh yeah.
Spin-off, The Masked Dancer, which looks hella dumb if you ask me, but that's where he's getting all his stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, but he's not up there like, "So long, gay boy." He's not doing his Mr. Chow.
So long.
Shit, he's just being himself. But I know, cause like I know I've heard like John Cho, for example, doesn't take accented roles ever.
Right, because that's kind of a point of pride. Like like what's his name? There's a guy who does the same thing for Pakistani or Indian roles. Forget what his name is. Shit. I can see his face.
Penn?
I know exactly what he.
No. Was it Harold and Kumar? No.
No, it wasn't one of them. Although he joked about that. Oh, I can't remember. It's gonna bug me. I'll think of it later.
No, I'm sure it's a bunch of them.
Well, right, and at the end of the day, right, and that's a hard road to take, right? Because it's like you get into that room and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna want you to do an accent," and it's like, if you did it, you get it, and there's money, but if you don't, and it's not even like it's a sophisticated version of your accent, right? Like I just recently rewatched the Batman movies, and the guy who plays the criminal money accountant, I've seen him in a number of things, but his character is from Hong Kong, and so he has that accent.
Yep.
And whether or not he has it in real life is besides the point. He's playing a character from there, and it's done like not as a kind of satire or a kind of diminutive. It's just that's what people with Hong Kong accents sound like. I mean, I'm assuming. I ain't no expert on languages or such not.
And I do know there's also there's at least a couple of like Asian actors who are British, so it's just like they have that accent, and that works. That's fine. Yeah. You're being yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, the guy who the one who was in The Expanse for like a couple seasons, he's one of them. Although he had an English accent in that show, but then he was in He was in that new Hellboy movie that they came out with, the cheetah guy.
I didn't actually see the new Hellboy movie.
Oh,
I know.
I liked it more than people said it was.
See, I know.
Yeah.
I'm really part of the reason I didn't see it was just because I think either life was busy at the time, or I'm just saying it was so I can have that excuse, or
Forgot.
it is. Yeah, no, I knew it, but I think it was because I didn't watch it because I didn't have anybody to go with, or like I just kind of was waiting. But like I do remember thinking like I'm scared to watch this because I want it to be good so badly. I want this to be really good. And I also love David Harbour being cast as Hellboy. I thought that was great. Because if you can't have Ron Perlman, he's a pretty good second bet.
Yeah, he's old now.
Ron Perlman? Oh yeah.
Yeah. And well, that wasn't even. Yeah, that wasn't even the reason that they didn't even continue with that series. It was really just the property owner.
It was the property owner, and it was the fact that that was at that point, I think it was Guillermo del Toro became like super in demand everywhere for what he was doing.
Yeah, he wasn't going to deal with that.
So he just became
shit.
so involved in so many. Yeah, I mean, he did 2 movies; they were great, and we can cherish them forever. And then he made The Shape of Water, and that was just also fantastic. I mean, so we could just live with that and be happy that we got to live in that lifetime. Shut up and eat your cereal.
That's the one with the lady who fucks the fish man, right?
I mean, I would have put it more classily than that, but yes.
Yeah,
I would have given it a little more taste and credence. That movie is actually really good, and it's not as stupid as that, as that can put it. But
we are.
But but we are. Oh, yeah, we definitely fucking are. No, I would say it was like, I remember watching that movie and being blown away because like there were some very Guillermo del Toro things in it. I actually saw him give a talk after, which was great. He was there in the theater, and this was at ArcLight, Hollywood, and it was in the Bowl. And it was one of the premiere screenings. It was like a weekend. I think my buddy landed tickets, and we went. And it was Guillermo del Toro and like 2 of the actors, including the guy who plays all the props, the super thin guy.
Oh yeah, he was it was the same guy who played Abe in the old Hellboy movies, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think there is a theory that character is Abe's father because she and Fishman, get it on, and then Abe is a lighter color hued fish animal man who speaks perfect English. Meanwhile, this creature has no capability of speaking English.
Just like.
So it was like and also too because that movie you can see takes place in the 60s. It's like in the mid 60s. So there's that element of the storyline too. But that movie felt like it was a modern fairy tale, man. Like I thought, like it was one of those movies where you watch it and you're like, all right, this is pretty good, and then you walk out and you're like, damn, that was really good, and you start thinking about like all these different scenes and like the imagery and the like, because one of the things I noticed to Guillermo del Toro movies is the cinematography and the way he places the camera angles and the sets. Just like everything has a reason to it, and it's not contrived either. It's not like I'm putting this here so they can see the number 5 and it's over here is the number 7 and blah blah blah. No, it's just art. It's just gorgeous.
Now, speaking of walking, when Guillermo came out and started doing his speech, was that when you're trying to get the fuck out? Pretty much. Like, you have to go to the bathroom.
Nah, man, I held that shit. I peed in the popcorn bag. That's how dedicated I was to that. That's just, I don't know why that reminded. So my old roommate, who I actually saw that movie with, he used to work at ArcLight, and he said one of the grossest things he ever saw was guy goes to the movie theater, orders a large popcorn, extra butter, extra salt. They just drizzle that shit in, do it in layers. Which, you know what? Hey, I'm a fan. I love butter and salt. I ain't nothing against that. Goes into his movie, comes out like maybe 30 or 40 minutes later, bucket's empty, and he goes to the soda machines, just It just sticks it in, starts bringing in 2 or 3 sodas at once, and they're like, sir. Aside
like,
from
yeah.
being, he's like, oh yeah, can I help you there? Like, aside from being heinously gross, like I just like, ugh, that's so gross.
I guess those buckets are properly waxed on the inside then.
Fun fact, they weren't. There was
Okay.
a huge puddle they had to clean.
That makes more sense.
They're like, that's not designed to hold liquid.
No, I think the closest that I came to kind of what you had was, I remember back when I was still in college in Omaha, and my parents came down because it was like a end of the year sort of thing, and we went to go see one of the Harry Potter movies at like one of those nicer theaters. And then it wasn't at the end, but it was at the beginning, you know, when they come out and like, you know, hey, welcome to the such and such theater. We're, you know, this and this. Here's the exits, yada, yada, yada. And we're going to do like a little fun game before the film. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, I want to see the movie. Shut up.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
So you're not. At least you had Guillermo del Toro. I just had the fucking the Mop Boy or whatever.
Well, that was the thing. I just got lucky getting to be able to see that. But that's because, like, again, that same roommate, he's like super into movies. Wanted to be a storyboard artist for a long time, and he always like knew about movies. He like his knowledge of cinema is just like blows me out of the water.
Overly educated.
Well, yeah, because he's just a filmaholic, like the guy, and not to the point where like it destroys relationships, but like he's seen almost every movie you've ever heard of. It's just he just watches movies and he does it while he's doing everything else in his life. Like there'd be times we'd be hanging out, and like I'd be playing Xbox or something, and he'd be on his phone, on his laptop, also watching me, while also like having 3 screens open on his laptop, like of 3 different windows. And I'm like, how do you function? Like, how are you not like gone insane and just like killed everyone around you?
That's what the phones and laptops are for.
Apparently.
Lucky you, I guess.
I know. So I got out of there alive. I didn't know how close I was to death.
Let's see. Speaking of in studio fighting, did you get a chance to check out the new Justice League yet? Or new version?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Oh.
I know it's on everybody's radar right now. What's the verdict?
It was significantly better than the theatrical release. For very many obvious reasons. Because, well, so what happened with the theatrical? Well, first of all, Warner Brothers, they're kind of like politicians. They don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
At the highest levels, like at all.
It's just not.
Which is a good thing that nobody listens to us, because I wouldn't actually mind working for Warner Brothers, but like not there.
Yeah. I mean, unless they sign us, which we'd be happy. Then we'll find out all the good things and be honest about that.
Fuck that. The first thing they would do is we're gonna find some new hosts.
About that money.
Oh, here we go. A little bit of connection issues. There we go. But
Oh, there you go. You're back.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, no. So with the theatrical release, Snyder did. He filmed like most of the movie, right? But whatchamacallit. So then I guess like towards the end, they basically fired him and hired Joss Whedon to.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, who then reshot like almost the entire second half of the movie.
Yeesh.
Yeah, which is, and so that's where you got like all the like awkward bullshit bonding moments and like dumb fight scenes and the whole CGI Henry Cavill with his mustache thing going on.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So the one that they just released on HBO, the Snyder Cut, everything that Whedon shot, they took out and put back in everything that Snyder did. Yeah, so and it was longer, and
yeah, I heard it's almost like 3 hours.
It's 4 hours.
Saying like that. Oh my god.
4 hours. Yeah.
Good God.
It's legit. But but no, it's a lot better because so first of all, so you remember the main bad guy Steppenwolf? I don't know if you saw like the new footage.
It's been a long time, but no, I don't.
He's a big stupid alien with an axe, basically. Cool. In the theatrical version.
Not playing Magic Carpet Ride.
Yeah. In the new version, which is actually technically the original version, I guess, he doesn't look like a guy. He looks more like an alien. So strange. But he's also like whatchamacallit, like penitent and relatable. Because his whole thing is that he's trying.
Okay, so
because I guess like they allude to him like fucking up somehow in the past, and he's apparently spent like hundreds of years trying to win favor and go home.
Right.
And that kind of thing. So he's actually like relatable, and I say it's strange because like they made his armor like all kind of weird, and like the helmet spires or whatever, the things that he had kind of coming off of his head, like that's his actual skull type of thing, and his legs are triple jointed.
I noticed that the what's it called looked different. The I saw that picture. I remember seeing that picture.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just better. And then they actually
it's just better.
Yeah. So and then he actually I guess in the original version, which is what this is now, he actually had more of the new gods in that movie. So Darkseid is actually in the movie, and
nice.
Desaid's in the movie, and then you also see a little bit of Granny Goodness, but she doesn't say anything. Which, yeah, little inside DC for you there.
Nice.
But yeah, and then they also have like the whatchamacallit, the end scenes, I guess, that he did actually film for this re-release of his version, which had like whatchamacallit, like epilogues that were supposed to lead into newer potential movies, including like another like future nightmare version of the DC where they had Jared Leto as the Joker in there again for a little bit.
Dude, I remember the future nightmare sequence they did where it was like Batman and he's fighting all the dust creatures. Like even in that cut, I was just like, this should be its own freaking movie. This is the coolest part of this whole movie.
Oh yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen it though. Good God.
But yeah, that's well, the thing is like this release that they came out with like has already blown the original Justice League out of the water completely.
Seriously.
Straight up, like views wise. I mean, it was only released on streaming, but like viewer wise and ratings wise, it's not even close.
Not even a question.
Which of course means that Warner Brothers still won't take Snyder back because now, you know, they don't want anybody that's better than they are.
Exactly.
There.
We didn't make a mistake.
Yeah. But and also one of the other interesting things about that movie is that it was kind of formulated to that the Justice League is actually kind of like Cyborg's story.
I could see that. actually, from what I remember of the original.
Yeah, because his whole thing is that he was, after he had his accident that nearly kills him, his dad creates him using energy from the box things, and then
Yeah.
that's how and then that's how they also figure out how to bring back Superman at the end, who doesn't have as much in this movie, but
Which is probably
it's
better
fun.
because it shouldn't be about him.
Yeah, and like it works because they actually go through the his the Krypton ship that they have in there to do the whole thing. Like they literally do the same thing that they did in Batman and Superman to whatchamacallit, to make what's his face, Doomsday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, where they put him in the pool and all that bullshit. And it's just better.
Oh, hey, I'll take it. I mean, better's better. Life is good, but it could be better.
Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. Everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today. There you go. And of course, all of his footage was also shot before Cavill grew out his mustache for Mission Impossible, so they didn't have to deal with that at all.
Nice.
In this.
That's always good when you don't have to digitally CGI your actors that you had on set acting. It's usually helpful.
Yeah. And I know also on top, like before this movie was even coming out, they had already fired the actor who played Cyborg as well. So
Oh, really?
yeah, because I guess he was kind of butting heads with their with Warner Brothers as well.
That's usually a good thing to do when you're
for
just
whatever
starting
reason. I don't remember what it was. I didn't really save it, but yeah, who knows? I mean, there is still a possibility that they might actually like see reason and kind of bring everybody back to do everything.
I mean,
but
when was the original one? Like 4 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I mean, the fact that I'm barely remembering it, like, and I'm usually pretty good about that with movies, because like I'll remember all the details. And hell, that's why I'm like the Star Warsiest nerd of all the Star Wars.
It's funny you say that because I used to be a huge Star Wars nerd until I found 40K.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, I mean
it's like who?
Then my brain
who is that?
Yeah. Then my brain just said, okay, you're going in the shelf because now my owner is doing something dumb with all of this.
Dumb but cooler.
Dumb, yes, for sure. Dumb but cooler.
Well, it's funny too because like whenever I was a little kid, I remember I had not like the original trilogy, but the remastered version that they came out with that was still on VHS back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had that same one, and it came in that gold sleeve. Yeah, I had that shit. That shit was awesome.
I don't know about the gold sleeve, but it was the one where it had like the half faces of like, I think like the first movie was like Vader and then Luke and then Yoda, I think. For the three movies.
No, exactly. Oh,
yeah.
No, yours was the other version then, because the one I was thinking of is it's the 3 VHS tapes, and then there's like a sleeve that you put all of it so you can see the exposed ones.
Oh, yours is later.
Posters in front of the tapes. Yeah, mine was the one that included all of the Lucas. Oh wait, let me add this one more scene, and then re-release it on VHS. Like it was the one that included the Cantina song and.
Oh yeah, whenever they
upgrade.
But
it was the special edition.
Yeah, I think yours was when they re-released everything in theaters, wasn't it? Like
probably because that was like what started. That was what started the whole like Star Wars fandom fighting with each other, because some fans were like me, where they were like, oh, that's cool. Like that's cool that they went back and added that, and other fans were like, what the fuck? Like, why did you replace everything? Why did you change the sacred texts?
I think yeah, cause that would have been back in like, it was either very early 2000 or like very late 90s. Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here now. I'm just thinking.
Pause for a bit, but no, the version I had was the ones that came out like kind of like mid to late 90s, before that happened. But no, the point I was getting at is back then when that came out, like, you know, I was a kid. That was all I had, and I watched those movies like at least one of them like once a day for, you know, a few months, and I got to the point where I knew like every line throughout the whole movie and like all the sound effects and stuff like too. Like I could do all the R2D2 stuff, like just all the I knew all of
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Or like I think because we didn't own it for a while, but my dad would basically let us go rent something from Blockbuster. He'd run us rent 2 things from Blockbuster every week, every Saturday. And it was like for me and my brother, and we forced our sister to watch whatever we got. And we basically would always rent Star Wars and then something else. Star Wars and then something else. And I'm pretty sure we killed our local Blockbuster's Star Wars tapes like 4 years in a row, just with the amount of times we rewatched it. God, do you remember when rewinding etiquette was a thing?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Like when it's like, oh, the last person who watched this didn't rewind it? What a jackass.
Well, you know,
like
gonna
VHS
wait.
things like, now with
dinner's gonna be done by the time
rewind.
But yeah, no. Then my mom came back from the local hobby store with a Games Workshop catalog, and it was all gone. I was done with Star Wars.
For me,
just immediately.
For me, it was. I walked by a Games Workshop store in the Arizona Mills Mall, and my mom saw me in there hanging out and looking at everything, and she's like, "Okay, we're done in here. We're leaving now." She saw where my eyes and my heart were going. She's like, "Nope." And then when I was in high school, a buddy of mine let me borrow his computer games. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's Dawn of War. You should totally try it out. It's fun." And I played it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever. There's a whole universe based off of this. What's it called?" And then I got into the books, and then once I hilariously, once I was unemployed, I was like, well, might as well get into 40K.
No, so I'm from a small town, so we didn't have anywhere near the population numbers to justify having Games Workshop. But the first thing that the first like thing that we kind of had that was even close to that was some guy in town had a store called Daddy K's, and it was like all disc golf and stuff like that. And then he also had like some Magic cards. This was back in like almost the beta days, and then there was just like and then he also had like a rack of different magazines and stuff, and just happened to have like a couple of Games Workshop catalog magazines, and that's what I got. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool, and I managed to get a couple of my buddies into it at the time. I first picked up Space Marines, and I think one of them played Craft Worlds or just Eldar at the time, and then the other, because this was when this was way back when they first reintroduced Dark Eldar. So not the
so that would have been like third or fourth edition.
Yeah, it was like towards the beginning of fourth. And there was like there was also some whatchamacallit, that was also when they kind of started to bring out the Necrons again, I guess. As well, right. Like the really old metal ones, like back when the when the Wraiths were literally just warriors with big tentacles instead of legs. Yeah, they're stupid.
That's awesome.
But no, it's cool.
Stupid cool.
Yeah. And of course, I was playing Marines, so I just won like all the time. It's kind of bullshit. But
hey, I mean, they didn't get that treatment again until
recently.
Until recently. So. But unless you were playing like Blood Angels or Dark Angels and were just like super good at what you did, and even that Dark Angels is like, bro. Or 6th edition, 7th edition Grey Knights. God, I hated them so much.
Well, back then they didn't even really have they didn't have chapters like at all. They were just paint schemes. At the time, at least.
I thought they had chapters pretty early on, though. I mean.
From what I've like learned from our, older people,
our elders.
Yeah, our elders. They had like a lot of stuff way back in the beginning, like 1st and 2nd, and then just kind of got rid of a lot of shit.
And slowly brought it back.
Yeah, only now. But I think from what I understand, like the only legitimately new army is like AdMech.
Yeah, because Gene Stealer cults were like definitely lore, like they were definitely around.
Yeah.
So was AdMech, but I think AdMech is the most actually truly unique.
The only thing they had back then, because this was also back when they still had the Silver Skulls program.
Nice.
On the website, and yeah, I remember the last prize was you could get like the 10 extremely rare Cult Mechanicus Tech Priest models that they had. That weren't they didn't have like rules for anything. You couldn't use them for anything, but they were just
cool to have.
Yeah, they were just like collector's pewter models. So I wouldn't mind getting my hands on them, but I only ever got to about like 40 skulls, and I think you needed like 300 to get those guys. Yeah.
What was the like the behind the scenes of the contest? Like, how did that work? Like,
well, it wasn't a contest. You just you got skulls based on how much you spent.
Oh,
on the website. Yeah, and I remember the three of us, like every once in a while, our parents would give us some money, and we'd all get around the fucking computer and order a bunch of shit.
Bye.
Like 3 weeks later, we'd have some new models.
That's awesome.
It's good times. I still have that card somewhere back at my parents' house, or maybe here even. I don't know. It's worthless now, but
I don't know, man. That collector's items are worth something to somebody.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't have a collector's items. I just had the stickers.
No, but even the stickers, man. That's somebody gives a shit about that.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll like pin it up over here somewhere. if I can find it. Let's see. What
is the point of my life right now?
Yeah, right. It's all gone. Let's see. Small stuff. Oh yeah, you were saying you said you'd going back to Star Wars a little bit. Apparently they officially have a sequel for Fallen Order coming out, or was announced.
I knew they were going to. Yeah, I have a buddy who just to keep things liable, I have a friend who may have a friend who worked at Respawn, and that friend of a friend asked that friend of a friend of a friend, "Oh man, Fallen Order was great. It was so awesome. It was so cool." And the developer's like, "Yeah, awesome, man. Glad you could be a part of that." And he's like, "So, when's Fallen Order 2 coming out?" And all the developer guy did was no. The developer guy goes, "So how's the weather?" Like I think from what I understand, like basically
not on an open line.
Yeah, this is not a secure channel. We've gone over this. TLDR, it was such an immediate success that basically it was one of those things where like the directors, like the directors at Respawn were just like, "Yeah, go ahead and start making the next one."
Yeah.
And just leave.
As long as they do better than the guy who owns Fallout. Or not Fallout. Well, actually no. Better than them too now, because I guess it kind of sounds like Bethesda's going to be exclusive with Xbox now.
I don't know if they're going to be exclusive, because that would be bullshit. That should be. I would be shocked, because that's like that. I don't think they would ever do that. Here's why. Because it's like, Xbox has their market cap, PlayStation has their market cap, and sometimes they have a merge of people owning both, but not really. And then there's game developers, and their market cap bleeds very much into one bubble. So I don't understand why Microsoft or PlayStation would buy a game company and be like, "You only make stuff for us now," when we could be making money off of anybody you sell your games to. Like, that makes zero sense to me. And no, I'm sorry, anybody who's listening, console exclusivity does not mean that more people will buy the console.
No.
That's just called, well, I'm going to go watch the game on YouTube, or, I guess I'm just never going to play that game. Like, I played Horizon Zero Dawn because it was fun on PC. I want to play Horizon Zero Dawn 2. If it's it's going to be released in like a year or so, maybe. Cool. If it's not immediately available PC, I'll wait. Ain't got no fucking problem with that.
It was like I need to fuck it, I need to. I still need to get the last Assassin's Creed that came out, and I know they have a few more planned after this one as well.
It's the Call of Duty of adventure games, but like I would totally play the new one. I'd actually play Odyssey too. I heard Odyssey and it was pretty good. I know I want to play Black Flag. I haven't played Black Flag, but I heard Black Flag is still considered the best they ever made.
Black Flag was good.
At least from a fun standpoint. But I totally would play. Is it just called Viking? I can't even remember what it's called.
The new one is
It's not Ragnarok, because that's overdone.
Valhalla.
Valhalla. Yeah, I would totally play it. Like, I absolutely would. I heard like one weird. I heard it's like okay, and like it's kind of drawn out. Like, one complaint I heard about it was that it's too long. Like, it takes too long to play the game. I'm like, that's usually never a problem.
That's not a thing. Yeah.
But I could see it being a thing, because like I know Assassin's Creed's all about like collectibles and missions and side quests and this and that, and like being the completionist type that I am, I could totally see myself getting stuck in that. So,
oh yeah.
For good or for bad.
I mean, yeah, that was the one thing about like Origins and Odyssey. I know there's at least a couple quests that I just never even bothered, because they were like ones like, go and find like these birds and shoot them down and collect their feathers, or some shit like that. It's like, hey, guess what I'm not doing. at all. I think I did manage to do the one that was in Origins, which was the that was the one where in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, there's one where like I think it was you had to shoot like 3 herons and 3 cranes or something like that, which the cranes were kind of easy because you could sort of find them just sort of standing around, but then the herons were always like flying around or whatever like that, and you could sit there, just boom, boom with your arrows and just not get anywhere. Bullshit. And then I don't remember what the one like that for Odyssey was, but it was also kind of equally bullshit.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been any number of things.
But no, I do also. Well, I do also need to go back and replay Odyssey since they whenever I played it and played through it, it was before like any of the DLC came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I sort of need to get back in there. and also, I'm still kind of trying to. Well, I'm still playing through Fallout, for my other show here.
Yeah.
And I do eventually need to figure out what I want to do after that, because I'm figuring it's either going to be Odyssey or I might actually play through that fucking Deathwing game.
Dude, if you have, or is Deathwing? Would you play Deathwing on PC?
PS4.
PS4. Oh, because if it's cross compatible, I could play with you.
I don't even remember if it was.
That would actually make it. If it's cross compatible, we could totally play at the same time, and that would actually probably make for funner content.
Maybe whenever I finally finish my my souped up PC, I might be able to do something like that. So I'm almost there, because I was even though I got lucky since my back went out last week again, but I also got my my 1400 that week, so it's like, all right, I don't have to. You got your Papa Jobos. I got my stimmy.
Dude, I still haven't gotten mine. I haven't gotten mine yet. It's supposedly I was not in that batch, so supposedly I'll get it in 2 days. So who knows?
If you get it, you get it.
But well, I know I'm supposed to get it, and there's like a website that says like track my stimulus or where's my money, and you go there and for me it just says, oh, it's processing.
Did you get the letter saying like, hey, we send it to you, go to this website, the my or the where's my stim or whatever?
No, I haven't gotten a letter from the IRS yet. No.
Oh yeah, because I also got one because I was I was supposed to get my the 600 before that, but it never went through at all, so I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
But apparently that's like supposed to be part of a tax return, which I haven't actually done mine yet. So
the 600. Yeah, I was gonna say. So the 600, if you didn't get it yet, you just make a note of that in your taxes, and you get 600 back, just like right off the gate. It doesn't count towards anything else. It just basically says, hey, I didn't get my 600, and then they run it up against everything, and they're like, oh yeah, you didn't. Here you go. And like that almost happened to me actually, except for the fact that I was able to correct it in time because did you change banks recently?
No, I haven't done anything.
See, that's what happened to me. I changed banks within the recent memory, and that's why like the stimulus check was like, wait, where do we go? And then TurboTax, who I use, emails me out of nowhere because I only talk to them 2 months out of the year, and says, yo, you want your stimulus check? And I was like, yeah, dog. And so like I updated my information with TurboTax. They sent that to the IRS, and then boom. I was like, thanks, TurboTax. I would in fact recommend you to a friend.
No, I still need to get on that and do mine, especially since I've been doing the Postmates thing. Like now I'm in the situation where I get to pay money, but probably not that much, hopefully.
Well, it's even if you're a contractor, it's I mean because you fill out a 1099, right?
They gave me something. I think they gave me a
They
1099
probably
at the
gave
end.
you.
Yeah.
So if they gave you
It's on my desk.
1099, yeah, if they gave you 1099, you're not gonna unless you made like fucking shill tons money, like I doubt you're gonna be paying money in taxes. If you are, then I'm so sorry. But
Well, I mean, I know it's going to be a
kids.
minimum amount. I know that it's as long if you make over 400, then you got to start keeping track of that, which I definitely did.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like, but that's what the form does for you, basically. But in terms of what I mean, unless when you worked for Postmates, did they take anything out for tax?
No, they don't do anything like that.
Then you're gonna owe money, but it might not be a lot.
Yeah,
it just depends. Because I think that as a contractor, you're maybe in a different bracket. I don't know. I'm making shit up at this point.
I mean, I was fully aware from the get go, and I've been taking my 30% out of everything I made there anyway.
Oh, that's
so
smart.
Yeah, I should be. Well, I mean, I did pull from there a couple times, but even still.
I mean, as long as you're not like week 1, I deposit 30%. Week 2, I'm gonna take 15% out. Week 3, I deposit 30%. Week 4, I'm gonna take 50% out. As long as you weren't going back to the cookie jar all the time, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, that should be good. And I've already been making money for like a good 3 months now too, so I should be covered, depending. But who knows?
Yeah.
But no, the point being is I went ahead and got me power source and RAM shipped. So.
Oh, nice.
I'm getting there. I got an 850 power source, so that should cover me for just about anything.
Not super well versed in that part of it.
I from what I understand.
How are you basing your build? Like, are you going off a recipe or are you going off of?
I went on a PC part picker and just kind of mapped out everything.
Oh, okay.
And then I just saved that to my Amazon wish list.
Nice.
So then whenever I'm ready to get something, I just go blink order.
There you go.
But
that's smart, actually.
The way I understand from the power source thing is like the wattage is how much it can is how much requirements of the PC it can handle. So what I have should be on the higher end, since I think normal is like 600. Normal is like 600 watts.
Okay.
And then I picked up.
So you're building yours.
Yeah. Just in case.
You're building yours to like handle it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Because after a while, it's going to be to a point where computing is good enough where you don't even have to like soup up that much. You know what I mean? It's just everything is just going to be that good. But for now, that is not the case.
Yeah. But then I also picked up a couple of high-speed 8 gig RAM discs. Sticks.
Nice. Yeah, RAM is definitely what you need. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
RAM and a good graphics processor. What are you going for with graphics?
Let me see. I did have one save. So that's actually the next expensive.
The next
part.
The next grab.
Maybe not so much the next grab, but the one that I have saved. Whenever I pull out my orders here. Oh, and I got some blue blocker glasses, so that's gonna help me because it is. But no, the one that I have saved. Where the fuck is it? Oh, here we go. So the one I got saved is the XFX Radeon 580. 100 or yeah, it's an 8 gig video card. And
nice.
It is currently at about 700.
That's pretty. What's the reviews on me? Because I use NVIDIA, but that's just because that came in the computer I got.
4.5 stars.
Nice.
At almost 400 reviews on Amazon.
Hey, that'll do it.
I might do like another deep dive before doing that, and I might be able to find something cheaper.
I was gonna say right before when you got that ready, I would do that for sure because like when did you build this list?
Maybe like a couple months ago.
It'd be worth checking because at the very least you might find a sale, or it might be that a card has been out long enough that you've been thinking about getting where like there's a lot more reviews in, so people are like changing their mind about it, or a card that wasn't good is good now because they updated the firmware or any number of things. Definitely, I mean, for sure, worth another look.
Plus,
if you're looking for a good card, that's probably going to be it.
Yeah. Well, plus also I know whenever I initially saved this to my list, it was they had a straight from the Amazon warehouse option, so I think it was cheaper initially. So I'm sure I could find something better. But and then after I do that, I just have to get like a hard drive, a solid state, and then I have an old Windows 10 disk. I don't know if it would work, but I'll find out the hard way.
Yeah,
I guess
you'll find out the hard way.
If it doesn't, I'll just have to get another one.
Yeah, you have to actually buy an OS, which isn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's just like, it feels like you shouldn't have to pay for it. You're like, oh.
I mean, who even does? But let's see.
That's
and then
baked in at this point.
But then well, it'll especially be nice too because so for editing this show, I started using normally I just use Adobe Premiere for everything because like that's just kind of what I know, and I already have it for free. But
right.
but no, I well for this show since we were dealing with like the audio issues kind of early on, I started using another program called DaVinci.
Yeah, I've never heard of that actually.
It's a little bit newer, but it's also free, like for just personal use.
Which is good.
Yeah, and I know. I don't have it off the top of my head, but if you go to like the davinciresolve website, it's actually been used on some big stuff. I think they actually used it. I think they actually used it on The Expanse.
Oh, really?
From what I understand, yeah.
Is it why that ending was terrible? No, I'm just kidding.
No. But no, it's actually pretty cool because it so the way that software uses it has like a number of different interfaces in there. So like normally I'll work in the like the cut interface, which is where I load in footage, and then I can cut it up and add in like all the other audio effects and transitions and all that bullshit. And then there's another but one of the interfaces is like there's one that's kind of like a an input editor that I don't mess with that. There's another one that I have no idea what it is. There's a there's a audio.
Which is great.
Yeah.
This thing's got, I don't know what it does. This thing, I'm not really sure what it does.
Well, any good program is gonna have a bunch of shit that you don't really need.
Oh yeah,
right.
For sure.
But and
it's
then
just standard.
Yeah, and then there's a purely audio editing interface in there, which is good because I can like mess with the levels and add in like all the noise reduction and all that shit.
That is good.
There is a node editing interface in there, but it's not anywhere near as advanced as like some other stuff, so that can be ignored. And then of course the last is like the actual output and export interface and deal with all that stuff. But the point being is that like it's free and I was able to get it on my laptop and all that stuff, but it's still kind of slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual output is better, and that might just be because the copy of Premiere that I have is just a bootleg. So I'm sure I'm missing something. But with this, it's so much better. And I ended up having to do one of my paint booth episodes on DaVinci. And because you know how like whenever I do the Instagram ads for that, I usually just take like a screenshot of my video and put it up. Well, the version that I had to do on DaVinci was so much better. Oh,
good.
Yeah, because it was the little ad promo thing that I did for my whatchamacallit, the Assault Intercessors, that was released last Friday or last Thursday actually for all y'all. The image quality was just like loads better, and it's like, all right, yeah, I need to finish this fucking PC and just do everything on that.
Nice.
Definitely. But, and it would also help too because I might have a I might have a studio job here again real soon.
Really?
Yeah, it'd be short term, like 2 or 3 weeks at the most.
Hey,
but
short term means long term.
Yeah, could lead into some other things. But actually, one of my old buddies and coworkers from back when I was working at a back when I was doing 3D conversion, he bounces around with like a bunch of studios because he's like a producer and production assistant kind of, like that sort of role.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with he's managing hiring right now for another small studio, and they already have a couple of my other old coworkers there as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
and yeah, so he basically just put out a thing on Instagram like, hey, I got an opportunity for nuke artists, which is something that I actually know how to do. I'm qualified in nuke. And I reached out to him. He was like, yeah, man, whenever we get a few more shots in studio, I can just shoehorn you in real quick.
Nice.
So
good for you, man. Congrats.
Yeah, it'd be good. But the point being is that, so the good thing with this position, like if I do end up getting it, is I can just go in and work. But also, I would want to have a good system so that I could also do remote work if really needed.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you want to be able to be like, oh, you can keep me on. I'm already good to go.
Yeah. And which I also know we kind of talked about like doing remote work with very technical heavy jobs, but apparently what I found out they've actually been doing is they just use like a Slack connection to connect to a PC that's in the office, which actually, now that I think about it, I should have known, because whenever I went back to my old studio when I worked on the I worked on that Teen Titans movie that came out a while back.
Oh, yeah.
Cartoon one. Yeah, so whenever I was there, I was in the studio here in Burbank, but I was actually working off of a computer in Toronto.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, for the whole thing, which every once in a while there was like, some bullshit connection issues, and of course if somebody like, accidentally kicked the power cable out, which I think actually did happen at one point over there wasn't really anything I could do about it. But so it would
That's
sort of
pretty
be
funny.
Yeah, it would sort of be kind of the same thing. But I mean, personally, I would rather go in a studio and work. But
oh yeah, it's always better to be on site for most of that stuff.
Oh yeah,
collaborative and whatnot.
Well, I mean, because I've also been kind of screwed over and thrown under the bus a little bit before too, with jobs where it's like I'm supposed to have, support, since I'm technically just an artist. I'm not like a lead. I'm not like a exploratory whatever. But I did the last compositing job that I have, which I won't say where. I did like the place, but I was in a situation where I was working on more than one show, but on one, my leads weren't even on that show, and on the other they were in, client bullshit literally all day every day. So whenever whenever I did actually manage to get feedback on like what I was doing and some proper direction, I did what they told me, and then it kind of ended up being wrong anyway. Instead of getting like the help that I actually needed, I just got, kind of thrown under the bus. Yeah, which sucks too, because so at that studio that I was hired mainly by a couple of my old bosses at my old studio, who they were not the reason that I got let go. So that was good. But one of them was like, one of them's actually now like the vice president of
oh damn.
Yeah, there. So he didn't know that this happened. And another one who was one of my old leads, literally same experience that I had been in the same thing, but it like wasn't as busy when he got hired. So he actually kind of was able to, get the guidance and get brought up to speed and all that. Whereas I just kind of, I got in there. Yeah, I got kind of thrown to the wolves.
Yikes.
It sucks too now, because like now afterwards I know exactly like how to do, or well, almost exactly how to do the things that I was trying to do, because I had like a bunch of shots where it was who's that one lady that's always on American Horror Story back in the day?
That old woman.
Not the old,
is that you're talking?
not the older one, but
the younger one.
Yeah. So I had another show that she was in, and she had like necklines, and I had a bunch of shots where they're like, "Can you take those out?" It's like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Sure, I guess.
And I kind of figured it out, but it was never enough. And then I had another one where, and then my other show, I had a couple shots where it's like, oh, it's a like a car chase, and a couple of people get shot in the head, and there's like some bullet ricochets, and like everything that I tried to do, it just kind of ended up being contradictory and all over the place. And it's like, hey, maybe this isn't the place for you. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Any place where they don't give you good enough direction, and also any place that doesn't actually give you like invest any time in you, generally warning signs. Like the only times you should not be worried about them investing in you is like when you're managerial and up. Like if you're already on a managing director exec level, you should just know what you're doing, and the only thing that you need to get brought up to speed on is just how this place works. But if you're in the trenches still, and you're not getting any direction, and you're not getting any development, they don't really seem to care about training you or like keep wanting to give you reasons to stay, generally, bad sign. That same thing happened to me my first job. I got burned because of that. Kind of been thinking of, just learn as you go, aka you do all the work of training yourself, and we can judge you and fire you and value you at that level.
Yeah. Well, I will give them this. Whenever I got hired, that was like the most work that they had at once.
Yeah.
Ever in their studio. So there was that, but like I wasn't at all aware of the fact that like I'd be on more than one project, and B, I was somehow supposed to manage my own scheduling of what I was working on.
Mm-hmm.
And my leads had nothing to do with each other.
Oof.
Yeah, so you gotta see where shit went wrong there. And well, my reason to stay is because I was only there for 2 weeks, and I made like $5,000, so the pay was good enough, at least. But
that's pretty good.
Yeah, but it was kind of like the standard, LA bullshit of just get a bunch of people in, see what happens.
Do a bunch of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the shit, and I didn't quite stick to the wall at the time. When they should have just, rubbed it in. Spectacular.
What the fuck is that from?
South Park.
That's South Park.
Yeah,
right.
when Cartman gets a bunch of Morado. But
yeah. On that note, On that brown note.
Yowdy.
I think we should rub this episode in.
Yep. We're rubbing it in. We rubbed it out. We got that 40K is starting to speaking of 40K, we're kind of starting to get back into actual stuff. Our little team's having our own little league kicking off here.
Yeah, are you going to do that?
April.
You're going to jump back?
Yeah, I already paid Jeff and everything.
Oh yeah, no, I'll hit him up with that money later, but he knows I'm good for it though.
I did think of like maybe sitting out, but fuck that. I'm in. Who cares? I'll work around it. And also, since I'm doing the Postmates thing mostly for work, it'll just mean that I'll have a few late nights where I'm just picking up drunk food, basically.
There you go.
Which is fine.
There you go.
Yeah, it's literally just going through the fucking Jack in the Box drive-through over and over and over again, and Taco Bell. But
one of the times you come back, you're like, Tom, you're the one calling me? I can explain.
Yeah. No, I have had I've had a few nights where I was out in Pasadena till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Back in the day. Yeah.
Definitely a drunk food market out here.
Oh, yeah.
Pasadena is definitely a drunk food town.
Well, Pasadena, here, North Hollywood, even normal Hollywood.
United States.
Yeah, pretty much all of LA. But, so yeah, real quick, if you haven't already, if you're watching, go down to the corner, like, subscribe here to Multi-Murdy Media, the other corner, not that corner. There you go. Multi-Murdy Media, you'll get the jankityasspodcast channel, which is what you're looking at right now. You will also get the Gutsy Ass Gamer, which is my video games to Twitch and stuff, and Poncho's Paint Booth, where I deal all my hobby painting and models and all that, which I will be... Well, I got another episode coming out here at the end of this week, and then probably be a little bit of a break, and then I'll pick that up, because I've just been recording a bunch of Fallout stuff, so that's gamer stuff. And if you prefer listening to the podcast, we're on every major platform now. So that's your Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, a bunch of other ones in between. And also, if you haven't already, go to multimurdymedia.com. You'll get all the links to all the shows, as well as my model gallery, mostly for Poncho's Paint Booth, and some stuff before. And as far as socials, Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram and Facebook. You'll get all the episodes, or all the updates for episodes as they come out, usually within a day or two. And that stuff. And also now Multi-Murdy Media on TikTok, and as well as Instagram Reels, which is where I mostly do some cutscenes of highlights, mostly from gamer and paint booth episodes. Currently gamer episodes, so it's mostly back content, but I just put out a few of those every now and then, and it's usually just me, like, blowing apart some raiders and stuff, or getting killed in the game. The fun stuff. And then, of course, Tom here you can find on
TFG Radio with 40K Judges.
It's always a good time.
All right. Well, that does it for me.
That does it for me, too. That's been another episode of the Janky DS Podcast, number 50. And we will see you guys all next week.